All I know is this violates every canon of respectable broadcasting.
How are you?
Hey, who wants to help me get this recorder out of here? I need some muscle over here.
You are listening to Blame Your Brother.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everyone, to Blame Your Brother. We are back once again to talk to you for the next hour or so. We are streaming the show live on YouTube at youtube.com/blameyourbrother. So if you want to go check that out, come hang out with us as we do that live. We would appreciate it. Tell all your friends about it. Next week, we will be doing a Wednesday show. So if you're writing this down in your calendar, there you go. You've been warned. So, but yes, we're here tonight on Thursday on YouTube, and we are Blame Your Brother. I'm one half of that duo. I am David, a.k.a. D-Brew, voice of people, Glenn Jackson, Mr. 40%, the spiritual midget, Mr. Wonderful, and this gentleman sitting over on my left is John.
Everybody, John here, a.k.a. Tico, a.k.a. Johnny DiCaprio, Mr. Groupon, Mr. PTI, the Madman.
They got John Tortorella, a madman.
They do have a madman.
Okay, he's a madman.
All right, there you go. Happy to talk to you tonight. This is an exciting one. We're doing the Mount Rushmore tonight. People were jazzed. And, I mean, generally they don't, I mean, no one ever, I mean, people are happy to see it, John, but rarely do we get comments before we do the list. Leonardo DiCaprio movies, the Mount Rushmore of the, I'd say the best and most important Leo movies there are. And there are, and we'll break down some of the great performances.
When I was looking through this IMDb page of this wonderful actor.
Yes.
I was thinking, before I even started, I was like, I got 8. And then I was like going through and I was like, whoa, there's a lot more that could really, really worthy of a list.
It's tough. No, you're like, well, 8 movies. You're right. You could put 20 movies from this guy on here. I mean, he's had that many great movies. And we'll get into deep discussion, but I mean, I think he is this currently. When Daniel Day-Lewis said, I'm done, I'm no longer acting, I believe he is this generation's best actor right now. Yeah.
Oddly enough, I mean, Daniel Day-Lewis might appear on this list somehow.
No, he will. He will. So, yeah, so we're going to get to that. But lots of news happening. Another death this week, unfortunate. And it is the 20th anniversary of 9/11 is approaching. So, some thoughts on that. Just relive history and talk about that. But, we'll just get going like we always do. It was Labor Day weekend, John. Anything happened to you? Any good stories? Anything?
I just worked.
Oh, there you go. That's a good one.
It just worked.
Yeah, I mean, nothing crazy happened, I don't think.
You went fishing, didn't you?
Yeah, we went out to the lake on Saturday, and just kind of spent time with the family. The weekend was nice, getting the batteries recharged, being off on that extra Monday is always nice. So Labor Day, I mean, not on the Mount Rushmore of holidays, but it's nice. I mean, it's nice anytime I don't have to go to work. I mean, obviously you still win, but still, I mean, good. Okay. Well, let's just get to the stories then, which, we got to talk about COVID every week now. I know we talked about COVID when it first hit, obviously. It was
COVID is now becoming the new Trump.
I mean, it's out of control. It can't be stopped, All right. This is where we're at. And just to recap. Lots of people have died. Lots of conservative radio hosts have died. Lots of people. Hospitals are full. ICU is full. What can we do to solve this problem? Because I figured at the point that when Phil Valentine died locally here in Nashville, conservative talk show host guy, when he died, I figured, well, maybe that will change some of their minds. This is, if your hero dies of something, maybe you just take a look in the mirror, re-examine everything. Negative. Nope. I saw on the news the other day that the school my kids formerly went to, Longview Elementary School. So if you're trying to find out where I live, I just gave you a big clue right there. Longview Elementary. What percentage do you think? So it's an elementary school, so masks are mandatory. Okay. What percentage of kids have opted out of the mask? What would you guess? There are no wrong answers.
I mean, my common sense would say less than 10%. But
okay.
But I mean, we even did an episode partially on Williamson County.
Oh yes, yes.
And so I would probably venture to say more like 60%.
It's like 40%,
No.
which is insane to me. 40% of the parents in an elementary school where vaccinations are not even on the table for the children. It can't happen. It's 0%. 40% have said, I'm not going to have my kid wear a mask. Look, I'm not going to get into all that because we've talked about it. We don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. I get it. Whatever, man. It is what it is at this point. Okay. For me to even get upset about it is becoming stupid.
I can somewhat understand the paranoia of some of the anti-vaxxers.
Oh, yeah.
Because for half their lives, they've been told how bad vaccinations are.
I agree.
And so I don't agree, but I can understand their paranoia.
I agree.
Anti-maskers, I don't get.
I don't either.
It's beyond me.
Our kids have to smile. Our kids have to smile. I'm like, all right, man, whatever. Okay.
They can smile as much as they want.
Okay, so
They got those clear masks.
maybe we should start selling those, John. We could make a bunch of money off of it. All right, here's what's happened today. So I guess we're going to just follow. This is what I'm taking now. We're just going to follow the conservative playbook. America's going to have to follow the conservative playbook and just get companies to go, hey, it's free market. We can do whatever we want. That's what conservatives they love it. They love that idea. The Republicans love the free market. Let the businesses do whatever they want to do, right? That's their slogan. Then fine. If that's how you guys want to play it, then we're going to start getting businesses to go, if you don't get vaccinated, you're done. You're fired. I believe United Airlines is one of them. Okay. There's more. There's a bunch. So this comes out today.
an airline company makes a whole lot of sense.
Medical facilities are saying, vaccinated, you're done.
Makes a lot of sense.
So President Biden announced today that all federal workers, all ALL underline, must be vaccinated with no option for testing. It says President Joe Biden will impose a more stringent vaccine rules on federal workers and take steps to encourage private businesses, you Republicans love that, private businesses to do the same during a major speech. It says among the steps President will take is signing an executive order requiring all federal workers to be vaccinated with no option of being regularly tested to opt out. That's Billy's favorite word, according to a source familiar with the plans. And so basically, if you work there, if you're contracted to work there, if you have anything to do with it, which estimates will cover 2.5 million people, you will be vaccinated or you will leave. There's the door. Don't let it hit you on the way out. So, John, what do you think?
I mean, it's brought upon themselves.
Yes. I mean, yes.
And the thing is when you're in a position where, especially, travel and hospital, those are probably the most highly contractable positions you're in.
Yeah, 100%. Especially hospitals, yeah,
if you look at travel.
Yeah, that's bad too.
If it weren't for travel, it had never gotten out of China.
Right. Well, that's true. Yeah, it's.
And so,
that is the plot to Contagion, the movie. Exactly the plot to it. So, thanks, Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah.
Have you seen this movie?
No.
You need to watch it. It is insane, man. It is in it. It's insane because of how much it parallels. Obviously, the disease in that movie is like, it's fatal. It's really bad. It's not like here. Like, if you get it here, you can still live. You got on this, you were dead within days. Has Kate Winslet, has Lawrence Fishburne, Jude Law is like a right-wing a blogger or conspiracy blogger. Gwyneth Paltrow, Matt Damon. It's an all-star cast. Okay, it's got Kate Winslet in it, so you knew I had to see it. But I saw it time. It mirrors so much of what's happening today. It's hilarious. But anyway, that basically, for those who haven't seen it, Gwyneth Paltrow is patient zero, and so you're figuring out. It shows you basically the movie's kind of trying to figure out how it happened. But she gets on a plane, she's sick, boom, it spreads here. So you're right. The airline travel is very deadly for the spread of this disease. So I'm like you. It's like having a kid. Okay, you're like, kid, clean your room. Okay, clean the room, or I'm gonna have to ground you. Clean the room, clean the room, clean the room, clean. And finally, you're just like, you know what, dude, you're grounded. I'm gonna clean your room, and you're grounded for a long time. This is essentially what it is.
No.
Somebody in chat said, what about the ones getting federal benefits? The ones coming across the southern border and the ones from Afghanistan? I would assume, I don't know about federal benefits. I mean, because that would be a lot of people, right? All this says is federal workers. Contracted workers are just employees. I think we're moving toward a step where most government employees, I'm a government employee myself, I think it's going to be mandatory for local governments to get it done. I mean, I work with many people I've talked about that are anti-vaxxers that I work with that are, by definition, by the book definition, are smart people. Okay. Obviously, it's all been removed through all this, but they know how to read a book. They are intelligent to some degree. So, so that's where we're at with that. So that's the first, big story of the day. And I think this is going to be around for a long time. And I think, like you said, we just have a certain group of people to blame. And it's just, for these people, and I'm talking Republicans now, and I talk about them all the time, for them to gripe and bitch and moan about illegal aliens come across the border. That's like they got like 3-4 points they hammer, and that's always one of them. They're coming across the border. They're killing people. They're raping people. Okay. All right. Did 1 or 2 or maybe even 100? I don't know. I know the statistics aren't what you're trying to make them out to be. You're acting as if everyone that comes across the border intent is to murder people. That is not true, okay? There's bad apples. As we're looking now in America, there's bad apples among all of us, okay? But for them to hammer on about these people coming over and they're not doing this and they're doing the exact same thing, man. They're doing the exact same thing on a different level. And it's maddening. Just get the damn shot at this point.
I would venture to say that most of the people that probably per capita, there's probably more people that already live here that are doing the murdering and
right, yes, for 100%, right?
I mean, most of them are coming over here because they want more money, a better life for their families. They're working over here. I used to work construction, and one of the job sites we worked at, I used to be an electrician. There was your bricklayers, and most of them are Mexican, and they were here on work visas, and one of them was missing a paycheck. So he went to his boss, and he's like trying to explain to his boss they didn't have a certain check, and the boss said, "Well, which one is it?" He pulled out a stack of papers this big, and they were all checks.
John's saying probably about 4 inches wide.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
And it's probably like a year and a half worth of checks, and he's going. He hadn't cashed yet.
What?
And he's fanning through, and he like finds dates that's missing.
Wow.
And he's like, one goes here, and
wow.
he's like, I'm like, oh, okay.
Wait. Why was he not cashing the checks?
He was going to cash them all at once, and then right before he went back home.
Good idea. I mean,
that way he wouldn't spend it, and
right.
And he doesn't have an American bank account.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Well, okay. Hey, look, and I sit back on this. The Trump and he said it directly, and all the rich Republicans say it. They go, "How much taxes did I pay? I'm not paying any. That's just the way the system works." Well, then don't be mad when other people figure out how the system works and they get it right. You can't be mad at the stuff you're doing. I've never understood that. Like, if you are a serial spousal abuser, you can't walk around and be mad when people beat their wives. You're doing it. It's to quote the best Dave Chappelle line of all time. When R. Kelly approached him, he said, "Why did you make that video of me, when you were acting like me peeing on that girl?" He said, "Why were you peeing on that girl?" Okay. So I don't even know. I don't even like talking about it. I wouldn't talk about it probably so much. I mean, you know what? If I didn't have this podcast, I probably would be talking about it, honestly, but it's just kind of maddening. But let's move on past that. Let's talk. We got a rest in peace this week. Omar from The Wire. I mean, his real name, Michael K. Williams, who has been in a number of great things. He was in Boardwalk Empire, The Wire. He was in a really good Netflix show called, I can't remember what it's called, but it's him and like a white guy. They were in like the South. It was a pretty good show. He was in a couple movies and things like that. But I mean, everyone that's a Wire fan knows him as Omar.
He's one of the best characters on the show.
Oh, he's probably the best character on the show. You come with the king, you best not miss, Anyways, this is kind of a sad story. We talked about last week, Daphne passed away. Well, this is another death lost too soon. Michael K. Williams this article says, is another life lost too soon. What I just said. While we wait for the official cause of death, it's been reported that drug paraphernalia was found near the 54-year-old Williams' body, and authorities are investigating his death as an overdose. And he struggled with drugs and alcohol. He knew he was an addict. He had been sober for 8 years. He started his recovery 17 years ago. And, no one knows. No one knows what, being an addict is just, it never goes away. Like, and I'm not an addict, so I don't have to live with that. I can't even imagine, and you like Mark Maron does a podcast. He's an addict. He talks about it all the time. And he had Michael K. Williams on. They had a good talk about addiction and he's had many addicts on, and just hearing some of their struggles about how they're getting through day to day. It's like one drug, one drink, whatever you're addicted to, if you're a sex addict, if you're a gambling addict, whatever, just one thing off,
you're right back.
You're in it.
Yeah.
All those years gone, and I struggle. Like I try to eat good. I like to stay within a weight. Like I lost a bunch of weight. But I struggle with food. I'm not like a binger, but like I'll eat too much junk food and go, crap, I shouldn't have done that. I can't imagine it being, that's like trivial. Whatever, dude. Just don't eat a snack tomorrow. That's times a billion for these people, because this is death for them. And like I said, the guy was only 54 years old, and this is another instance of just people. We talked about it last week, and a lot of people responded to our Instagram post, which I liked. We got a lot of likes about it because I think it connects to people on a human level. But once again, you don't know what a person's going through. Now, if you knew this man, or if you him specifically, or if you know an addict, it probably never hurts to just check in with them from time to time. Like we say, we don't know if someone's suicidal or they're depressed and they don't really tell a lot of people about it. You may not know. You're still good at checking with people, and I'm not very good at doing it, just honestly.
Yeah.
I'm pretty bad at doing it. I don't know how are you at checking in with just friends? Like,
if I know there's an issue, I'd probably be pretty good at it, but I don't.
Right. And I think it's just because
I don't think I'm close enough to anyone.
Yeah.
That's in that situation.
Right. But just like there's friends I haven't spoken to in 6, 7, 8 months, maybe a year. Some friends 2 years I haven't spoken to. Reconnect, go out to lunch, and it's like catching up with old times. But like, you don't know what they're struggling with until then. In this case, the world has. And here's the thing about the guy. He seemed like a genuinely good guy. Like every interview I read about him, he just seemed like he was a guy that was trying to live a good life, and just. It just sucks. That's the world we live in, though. If you're not like, and I'm sure all this stuff going on doesn't help people that are struggling through these things. People struggling through.
You're already walking a wire when you're in that position,
right?
And then to be in a world like this where it's hard to meet up with people or have a that support system,
right?
Just because you don't have access to people like you used to.
Yeah. That's true. That is a big factor of it, for sure. Well, it's unfortunate, and I just hope that, his family, his friends or whatever are able to find some kind of peace in the fact that, him as a human being, that's all you can do when someone dies, as you've lost your mother, I've lost my mother, and there's nothing you can do. You can't pull these people back, but you've just got to live in the memories of them, and hopefully that you were good with them. That's like an important thing. That's why I try to tell people, like, you need to live your life around people good, because they could be gone tomorrow. And if like you were just a terrible person to someone, maybe even someone's close to you, but you just, and we all do it, that may be the last memory you ever have of them.
Well, my big thing is always, I try to treat people like that's the last time I'm going to see them.
Yeah.
And so, when you do that, it makes it a lot easier to make that decision. Okay, I didn't end this on bad terms.
Yeah. No, yeah, for sure. That's 100% what we need to do. We don't, not all the time, but
Well, it's again, in this day and age, it's just like there's just so many things to worry about that.
Yeah. When you have kids, a wife, a job, it's just, it's tough, man. It's not an excuse. It's just a reality. It's not even an excuse. I've got 3 kids. I've got a wife. I have a job. I have a hobby. I really enjoy doing this podcast. I've got friends I want to see. I mean, you start adding that all up, you're missing out on something, you know. I'm not going to miss out on the kids, so I'm not going to miss out on my wife. I'm not going to miss out on even, you know, the things I really like to do. So unfortunately, sometimes the people that are on the outside are left out. And
there's this thing that's it's usually done in for religious reasons, but you have like a jar, and you have a bunch of different things that you want to fit in the jar. And like one of it's like some rocks, and some other it's like sand, something else, and then like water. And the only way to fit everything in the jar is to put the big things in first. And so that's what you got to do in life, is you got to put the things that are most important first.
Yeah.
And then let the other stuff come in later, but make those things your priority.
Yeah, no, that's true.
And so,
but you know, well, rest in peace, Michael K. Williams. I if you have not watched The Wire, I would really encourage you.
One of the greatest series ever.
Now, and I don't want to spoil The Wire, but I wish Omar would have been in it more. I'll just say that. That's all I'm going to say. That's not giving anything away, but I wish he'd have been in it more. But he was so good that he probably would have stolen the show if he was in like every episode. You know what I mean? So, anyways, I don't even want to tell you about The Wire because his character is amazing on 100 different levels. So just go watch The Wire, check him out, and just rest in peace to him and his family. You know, sucks, man. There's some celebrities that hit me different. I read this one out and I let out a gasp. I was like, what? I mean, just because it's crazy, you know. Okay. All right. Well, speaking of crazy, let's talk about the anniversary of September 11th is approaching us in just, 2 days?
Yeah.
Oh, this weekend. Wow. Okay. So obviously, I mean, everyone knows September 11th. Never forget. It was the incident where, you know, the planes fly into the towers. It was with everything that's going on in Afghanistan, it's been a kind of a harsh reminder. Yeah, it's crazy, right? And I mean, to us, the people always say, what is one of the first news stories you remember as a child? And one of the ones I always remember first was the Challenger exploding.
That's mine too.
I think it's, to our age, it's a lot of people remember that. But this one, and you're a child, so you're processing, you don't really understand the full. I mean, even as I knew it was messed up as a kid, but I didn't really, as an adult, you have a different perspective. This was the biggest thing that ever happened to anyone of our age. Yeah. Like, there's nothing that ever invoked fear.
This changed a lot of people's lives because not only did a lot of people lose family members and friends, but also, I mean, I'm probably one of the most passive people you know.
Yeah.
And even I was like, maybe I should join the military or something, And, I had those thoughts, and I'm like a very, very passive person. I don't like fighting at all. And for someone like me to have those thoughts, I guarantee you that there are millions upon millions of kids that join the military because of this.
Hell yeah. You know that. Yes, 100%. Okay, so what I will tell what I remember about the day, because I do remember it very clearly. I believe it was on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I remember that because my days off at my main job were Tuesday, Wednesday, and I was scheduled to go and work a second job at a restaurant. I was working at Cracker Barrel for all you fans out there, and so I would go in around 2:00 and work till 10. So I usually got up around 9, 10 o'clock. Slept in. And I remember logging on to Yahoo News. I got on the internet, logged in, because this was back in the day where you still had to dial into the internet, which is crazy these days. But anyways, so
what are you talking about, man?
So you dial in. I believe I dialed in. My memory, I believe it's still dial in. So anyways, I remember pulling up the website, and it said plane crashes into World Trade Center. And I just went, oh, that's wild, man. Like, that is crazy. But who cares? I literally just kept scrolling. I didn't understand. I just thought a plane, pilot had messed up and flown into a building, because this had never happened before, Well, then I believe I got a call from my wife, and I believe I turned on the news, and then I was like, oh my God, they're saying this is a terrorist attack. And, everyone was losing their mind. Number one, you don't know, is this a orchestrated terrorist attack? Is like 1,000 planes going to start crashing into things? And it was surreal. It just didn't seem real. It didn't seem like it was a real situation. Now, so how do you remember hearing about the news?
I was at work. I was working at the construction job. We took a break at 9:30 every day, like a 15-minute break, and then we take our lunch at 12. But we were taking our break, and then we'd only heard about the first plane, and it was like really unsure. It was a plane hit a building. We didn't even know it was like
Right.
because I mean a lot of people didn't have cell phones
No.
at the time. Yeah,
For sure. I mean,
I'd just gotten one like the year before, and that's because I was going into construction. I didn't know what job I was going to be at, so
right.
I wanted to have a cell phone just in case. And my little sister had, just a month previously given birth to my nephew, and so we were sitting at break, and then I heard people talking about a plane and a building, but you don't. When you hear a plane flew into a building, you're not thinking a commercial liner.
You're right.
You're thinking about like a little biplane.
Yeah,
or
that's
something.
exactly like
You're thinking about somebody's house.
Some idiot pilot was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, okay, whatever, man.
And so whatever. And then like about an hour or two later, it was before lunch had actually hit. The whole construction site, nobody was working.
Yeah.
Everybody was on their phones. Everybody,
Yeah.
and I had family in New York, and
Which is even crazier.
So
right?
I was, reaching out to them, making sure they were safe, and because I mean, these are the two second largest buildings in New York City. Right behind the Empire State Building, and so for those two buildings to fall, I mean, there's no telling what kind of damage was caused outside of it. Much less the people that were inside of it. And so, I just, it was, everything was just like screeched to a halt that day as far as any kind of work was it just wasn't happening.
Right. And that's right. Those are moments where it happens and it's really rare and you can always remember where you're at. I just remember like people are like, you need to go get gas because gas is going to go up to like $8 a gallon and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, I don't have any gas in my car. And I was like, and it was just surreal. I mean, the fallout of it still affects us today, like more than I think younger people don't really realize that like flying on a plane, like to go to another state used to be just a thing. Like
TSA was
a joke.
Nothing.
Oh, dude, you probably could have smuggled in so much weed on planes back then.
Well,
you can't even imagine, dude.
Not even that. I mean, you could, when a family member was going onto the plane, you got to go right up to the gate.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Like, you don't got a ticket now. You're not even getting past the terminal.
No.
And so
it's changed that. It's really changed. Just at the time, as America can be ugly. Everyone's saying it brought us all together. God bless America. But it got ugly. I mean, anyone that was Middle Eastern were being attacked, were being threatened. People had nothing to do with it. People that probably left. People that were born here. People that left there because of the situation over there were getting attacked in the streets. I was taking reports on this where I worked at the police at the time, taking reports on these threats being made to these people, and it broke my heart. I was like, what is wrong with people?
And there's in Nashville, there's a high level of
like
Arabic,
Kurdish,
yeah.
And I look, it was a tragic event. I don't really believe in my heart that everything that's happened in the Middle East, I don't think it was really a lot of this was connected to this. I think it's pretty much been proven, but I think this was just a chance for us to go over there and start blowing things up and whatever your conspiracy theory is. There's people that have spoken out about it. System of a Down was very called. They actually wrote an article about it the next day because I love System of a Down. They were just like, this is about oil. Like, I mean, no one wants to hear that. And people are like, that can't be true. And it's like, I don't know, man. I think it was. I think it's hard. I mean, if any group of people, and you're going to see this, you can look at the Capitol building being, stormed, and it was stormed, but by a bunch of idiots, Charlottesville, 9/11, anything. If you get enough people together that are all dedicated, that's why the Capitol siege didn't work, because if these people would have had a plan, They could have killed multiple representatives. This 9/11 showed people that you get 40 or 50 people together, all on the same plan, you can bring buildings down and basically shift an entire country's ideology moving forward. It's insane.
Yeah, and it has.
And the people that were helping are suffering. This is where it really makes me sick. The people, the first responders, the citizens that were there, that were going into the buildings, catching all this smoke, are suffering serious health problems today. Serious health problems. I mean,
for the ones that
cancer.
are today.
Yes, some died. Our own representatives are hesitant to even give these people money to help them out. Like Jon Stewart and Steve Buscemi are like fighting to get these people.
And,
our entertainers,
Pete Davidson.
Our entertainers, okay? Our entertainers are the ones that have to go and fight for these people. This is sad. This is sad. I'm telling you, man, I know it's anti-Republican. If you don't like it, get off the feed. I don't really care. But a lot of these Republicans are the one holding it up. And I'm like, dude, if you guys say you're patriots and you love this country, anyone that day that went in there to sacrifice their own life to help other people, you got to take care of those people forever. It's just like when soldiers come back from overseas, you got to take care of these people. You know, so it's been 20 years. I've been I've been into New York since then. I went and saw the new memorial, and it was very emotional for me. I mean, I there was one exhibit I had to leave because I was crying so hard. I mean, until you hear some of these calls people are making to the loved ones on these planes, you can't even fathom it. No. I mean, you think you can fathom it, but you can't, man. People are calling, leaving messages, just going, this is it. And that's heartbreaking.
I mean, just you yourself, just stop a moment and think. You can't even touch them, but you've got to tell your loved ones goodbye.
Yeah. You can't imagine, right?
Yeah.
You can't put into words.
Yeah, so.
Well, I know it's corny, don't ever forget. And I think people think don't ever forget in certain ways. To me, it's a reminder to, as we talked about earlier, it's a reminder to be kind to people. It's a reminder to
appreciate what you have.
But it's also, and I'm not saying profile people, but be aware of your surroundings as well. I try to tell my kids that all the time. Like, I'm not saying a racial profiling. I'm saying if you're around somewhere and that spotty sense goes off, and we have it,
Yeah.
Trust your gut. Your gut is rarely wrong. Sometimes it may be wrong. I'm not saying go up and punch somebody in the face because you think they're wrong, but keep an eye on them. Now, I don't know, I remember Marky Mark was like, if I'd have been on that plane, this would have happened. Bro, shut up and sit down. You wouldn't have done a darn thing, man. You think you're the one guy that would have went up there and beat all the... this guy said this? He said, if I'd have been on the planes, it'd been a different story.
I mean, if you told me guess somebody who said that, he might have been on my short list.
I mean, bro, they killed the pilot on one of the planes. Can you fly a plane, Marky Mark? I don't think you can, brother. So it was doomed from the start, But anyways, God bless anyone that lost their life that day, anyone that's still suffering through it. If you had family there, if you knew someone, it sucks. I just, and this is to me what radicalized religion will do. Radicalized religion. I'm not saying normal religion because, Islamic faith, there's some sects of it that are radical and it's dangerous. There's radical sects of Christianity that are dangerous, So it's just wild. But so Robin is in the chat, said, I'm still scarred by 9/11. As a 20-year-old comm major, my roomie and I did something we normally never do. Turned on the TV, and a couple minutes later, we saw the second plane hit. And a lot of people saw that second plane hit, and that had to be insane. Now, there are a couple of documentaries that are out. Netflix has one about 9/11, and then Apple supposedly has a really good one, Inside the War Room, which I haven't checked out yet, but I want to.
I've heard that the best moment-by-moment account is actually, believe it or not, the Howard Stern show.
Oh, yeah, that is a good YouTube watch. Yeah, because they were on live on air. That is a good, you can bring that up on YouTube. So just, just take the day to reflect and remember. And, I just don't want people to go, God bless America. It's like, all right, just calm down, people. All right. Like, it's more than that. It's more than just America. Okay. It's life in general. So, all right. Well, that's this weekend. Crazy 20 years have gone by, man, which really make you feel old. All right. Well, let's get to a happier story before we get into our Mount Rushmore. What if? We are continuing our what if journey, John, okay? So what if, one more time, if it's your first time watching, is a Disney product. It's Marvel and Disney. It's shown on Disney+. It's a Marvel idea in the comic books from a long time ago. They take a comic book story, they shift it just a little bit. So what if the Hulk hadn't been the Hulk? You know, that might be an example. Okay, so and they have these different stories as an animated series. It's about 30 minutes long, whatever, 22 minutes, whatever the length is. I don't know. And so here's some of the ideas have been, what was the first one? What
if someone else was Captain America besides Steve Rogers?
Okay.
Another one is what if the Ravagers picked up someone else instead of Peter Quill?
Yes. What if Peter Quill wasn't Star-Lord? What if Doctor Strange done something different? So anyways, this week takes something that Marvel loves to do stories on. Okay. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of zombies. All right. I'm just going to be honest with you. But what if zombie? I don't even know what this episode was called. What if there was a zombie attack?
What if ... zombies?
Okay.
That's
what if zombies? All right. And so it takes the idea that what if, and it goes into the this would be after in.
It was right
the beginning of
Infinity War.
So Hulk comes back from Asgard after Thanos, almost kills everyone. He gets thrown into Doctor Strange's lair, and that's where our story begins. And he finds out that zombies have taken over Earth, literally. And so there's a ragtag crew of people left. I'll just say a few. I'm not going to tell everybody, but Spider-Man's there. Bruce Banner's there. There's a couple more people there. So anyways, it says, what would happen if only a few people were left to stop a zombie apocalypse on Earth? All right, so that's the setup for the episode. What are your thoughts?
It was a good episode.
I thought it was good as well. And like I said,
it was the most nail-biting episode so far.
Yeah, I would say, because, yes, the few first ones, I mean, I feel like you kind of know what's going to happen, right? Like the Captain America one, you're right. They kind of telegraphed what was going to happen. If you're a comic book fan, you kind of knew what was coming. Doctor Strange, a little bit of a twist, but a weird twist at the end. Okay, but this one here, you're like, everything's on the table. Like, people are dying on this episode left and right, dude.
Literally.
Like, from the beginning, you're like, whoa, okay, that guy's a zombie. That's a zombie. It was really a strong episode. And like I said, I'm not a big zombie fan, but I like the twist on the zombies that they presented. And
these aren't your zombies.
No, these suckers move. These are like 28 Days Later zombies.
They maintain
powers,
abilities,
yes,
yeah,
and knowledge apparently, which was kind of weird. But I thought it was fantastic. I like seeing the new Avengers, the almost the B-list Avengers that made up the crew. I would love to see a series with all those people. Actually, I thought it was pretty cool. Still brought some of the movie people in, a couple movie inside jokes, a couple of things like that. So I'm ranking this. I think it's a higher one, man. I really do. I think it's one of the better ones. I think these keep getting better. It's kind of weird. Like, you're like, they can't all keep getting better. There's got to be one that's not as good. But right now,
this one for me, it's neck and neck with the Star-Lord one.
Yeah, it's kind of the same vibe almost a little bit, but yeah, as far as I like it. I like it. So if you're not watching What If on Disney Plus, dude, what are you? We've talked about it for 5 weeks in a row now. We're selling it to you. Go watch the freaking show. All right. Okay. Well, that was our What If recap. Okay, let's get to the Mount Rushmore of Leonardo DiCaprio movies. Now, John, what movie, if I ask you, what was Leo's first movie? You must know this. You looked at the IMDb.
His first... outside of his looking at the...
Not TV shows. Not TV shows.
Before I looked, I would have probably been wrong, but my guess for his first starring role would have been either What's Eating Gilbert Grape or This Boy's Life.
But... there's actually a little movie called Critters 3. Yeah. 1991 was the year. A lot of bit parts. Yeah, and he was in like some Poison Ivy reboot or something like that. Yeah. Leo's an interesting guy. I think we've watched this guy grow up from 1991, man. Before that, actually, he was on
Growing Pains.
Growing Pains. So we're talking the 80s, right?
Yeah.
So we've watched this guy grow up. And it's hard for me because I don't feel like he's aged in my mind, but when I go back and look at all the movies, I'm like, oh my God, he's aged from Titanic to The Departed to The Revenant. Like, he's aged, but like I still see kind of like Leo, I'm like, so So we're going to take a look at how did you do it? Are you doing best? I'm just doing best. I mean, but
I did best, but I also interjected ones that I really, really enjoy.
Okay, that's
personally.
I will maybe change the last two. Okay, I've got a rotating because I think there's some movies that are important to his career. Okay, so I think I'm saying best, but I think I'm going to switch it up a little bit. But I'm getting my best in. If you don't grab them, I'm getting my best in at the beginning because I'm not going to have a crappy list of Leo movies, which there aren't a lot, but you better not grab if you were just grabbing all the good ones and I had like Critters 3 because that's his first movie, The Man in the Iron Mask. Somebody tweeted that we were going to put Man in the Iron Mask on the list.
Yeah, that was not going on there.
But jokes on them, we loved Man in the Iron Mask in an ironic way because we used to I'm the man in the Iron Mask.
The man.
He didn't make that movie watchable. You can say whatever you want, and there was 2 of them in it, so you almost want to put him on the list because there's 2 Leos, which that's pretty darn cool, truthfully. Okay, John goes first this week. So, John, what are you going to start off with on the Leonardo Mount Rushmore?
If you were going first, I'm 99% sure that you would pick this one.
Okay.
So I'm going with Wolf of Wall Street.
Yes, sir. That would have been my first choice. All right, so Wolf of Wall Street came out in 2013, and he plays Jordan Belfort, who is a real person. He's a stock market trader who was basically a con artist. I mean, an embezzler, fraudulent man, a decadent man. What do you love about Wolf of Wall Street? Because that is probably my favorite Leo movie.
There's a lot of aspects that, I mean, some don't even concern him. Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, that's yeah.
I mean, and then Margot Robbie is a doll.
Are you talking Leo or are you talking supporting cast in here?
I'm talking movie, period.
I want Leo facts about the movie. Give me something about Leo, man. Why is Leo good in this movie? Are you going to just bust the supporting actors? Come on, man. Are you saying supporting actors make the man? This man could act this way off a paper bag if he was the only one in the movie. What can you tell me about Leo? If you grab my number one, you better come with better stuff than this. Why is this your number one? And it better not be Matthew McConaughey and Margot Robbie, dude, because I can pick other movies where he's got hot co-stars with him in it.
But I mean, the straight to the camera bits, and he's over the top, but it's like you have to be if you're playing that kind of person.
100%. Yeah.
And so I mean, it'd be impossible to watch this on network TV.
God. The movie starts off with him doing a line of blow off a hooker's ass. I mean,
let's just say.
That's the opening of the movie if you've never seen it.
If you've got this kind of background, life happening to you, would you not be doing the same thing?
I think everyone would. I think any white man that sits there and acts like if you grew up in the 80s and you were around this culture and you wouldn't been part of it, you're a liar. You're 100% liar. I think I'm a good person. I think John's a good person. I think if me and John had been around Jordan Belfort and we'd have been age appropriate, whatever, we'd been in that time period, we would have been in this all day, every day. And you can say whatever you want because to me, it's really a look at that. It's a look at all of you people, you think you're holier than thou. And I like that about Scarface too, the movie. I like when movies say, you think you're better? You're only better because you haven't been in this situation.
Yeah. I think when watching this movie, it reminds me of like when a politician gets in trouble for cheating.
Right.
And you're thinking, okay, a lot of these politicians, they probably grew up lame, nerds.
Yep.
With nothing, and all of a sudden they're boom.
The power.
It's like winning the lottery. And so you got all this thrown at you. I mean, I'm not saying that I wouldn't have the power to say no, but I'm not saying I would.
Right. No, I'm saying I wouldn't. Not at 20. Maybe at 40. Maybe at 40 today, but not at 20.
Yeah.
I just think the 2 great scenes in the movie are obviously the Valium scene where he takes the Quaalude scenes, where he's trying to get his car back to his place. Fantastic scene. But my favorite scene in the entire movie is the scene on the yacht with the FBI guy. I think that's one of my favorite scenes ever in a movie. I love it. It's so great. So, good show. It's my favorite Leo movie, Wolf of Wall Street, because I think that's the movie to me where and there's other movies where he's been great. That's a movie where I forgot he was Leo at certain points because he was doing. I mean, his voice is different than he normally is in the movie. It's crazy. All right. Well, if you're grabbing that one, I got to go with our man, Calvin Candy. The movie is Django Unchained from 2012, which is a year before this one, which is even crazy to think about. That in a year period, this man did Wolf of Wall Street, Django Unchained. Why did I pick Django Unchained? I didn't pick it for Jamie Foxx. I didn't pick it for any of the actors. I picked it for Calvin Candy. This is one of the greatest performances ever of a villain.
Great bad guy.
Mount Rushmore villains made the list. His acting, he is the most discourageable person you would ever meet. Number one, you take a rich white man, strike one. Strike two, slave owner. Ugh, terrible. He's Southern. He's swarmy. He's a terrible human being. But
and of all of his movies, this is probably the most meme-worthy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the infamous meme.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you have not watched Django Unchained, and you're like, maybe Quentin Tarantino is not your cup of tea. Maybe you're just like, maybe Quentin Tarantino is not my cup of tea. Just go to the middle of the movie. Just find the scene where Jamie Foxx is inside Candyland. That's his mansion he lives in. Just the interaction between him and Christoph Waltz is it. He should have won. Now, fun fact, he didn't win an Oscar for either of these movies, which is absurd that he didn't win one for Wolf of Wall Street. It's even more absurd he didn't win for Django Unchained. This was acting on a whole nother level. Calvin Candy is the man. His performance in this, it may be his best performance. Wolf of Wall Street, I think, is better overall performance. This and Concentrated, it's like a different guy. It's not even like you're watching Leo. I just said, like, yeah, this first movie where I didn't think it was, I knew he was Leo in Django, but he was just like a different Leo. He wasn't like the Leo. I was like, oh, that's not Heartthrob Leo. That's like, that dude's bad news, man. Yeah. So, all right, Django Unchained, my number two. All right, my number one. If I could take Wolf of Wall Street, it'd be my number two. Okay, John, what is your number two?
My number two is The Departed.
Oh, yes. That was going to be on my list for sure. So, 2006.
I can be on the fence when it comes to cop movies. And I mean, this is a cop movie and a mob movie, and I mean, there are parts of this movie where you feel for the character. You're like worried about the characters.
Oh,
you're like
the whole movie. I mean, yeah, it's
because I mean, you got major people that we talked about. What if you got major actors that are dying throughout the movie, and so no one's really safe.
Literally, no one is safe. Speaking of Marky Mark. I mean, I'm not saying he's not safe. We were talking about him in 9/11.
Definitely. And that's not in my book his greatest movie.
No, Marky Mark.
I know what you're gonna say.
Have you watched Boogie Nights, brother?
Yes, I've seen it.
Boogie Nights is one of the greatest movies ever made. Number one.
I like Departed more.
His character's all right, man. Boogie Nights is. I would say Boogie Nights is a better movie than Departed, but it's close. I've seen Departed many, many times. I've seen Boogie Nights many, many times. I think Boogie Nights is look, you pick both Martin Scorsese movies. You're going to have to get off that train soon. Okay, you can't have all of his movies on here.
Hey, you got a list too, bro.
I'm not picking Martin. I haven't picked one Martin movie yet. You've got them both.
I mean,
I would have picked them, but
I'm
not going to pick it. So, yeah, no, he's really great in this movie. If you don't know what it is and you haven't watched it, you should. It's basically Leo's a cop. He goes undercover to Jack Nicholson. It's freaking great. He goes undercover, deep undercover, like the deepest, like he doesn't exist anyone. It's got Martin Sheen in it. It's got Jack Nicholson and Matt Damon, and it's just a freaking. It may be one of the. I know people love like Goodfellas is the best Martin Scorsese movie. I think Departed may be better. I think it's just. I think it's a perfect movie. Truthfully, I think it's perfect. Now I did say I think Boogie Nights is also a perfect movie. Let me get that out there. I think Boogie Nights is Paul Thomas Anderson at his finest, dude.
Also with Departed, I mean to hats off to Scorsese because there's a lot of imagery that goes into the scene. Did you know that every time there's a death scene, there's an X somewhere on the screen?
Yeah.
And I mean, that's.
Martin Scorsese is a great director. Yeah, he's great.
So there's a lot that besides, just the acting itself and the action.
No, I just looked at my number 2. I can't believe I was giving you shit. Okay. I'm going to have to eat it in just a second. This is terrible. All right, do you have any more thoughts about it? Because now I'm feeling bad because what I'm about to say. So I'm like, oh, John, you can't pick all Martin Scorsese movies. my number 2 is another Quentin Tarantino
yeah.
movie. Oh, God. Oh, that's
Are
terrible.
we going to Hollywood?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
That's what I thought.
How he didn't win an Oscar for any of these 4 movies is absurd. It's not fair. So he plays Rick Dalton in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, 2019 film. Is it my favorite Tarantino movie? Could be. It could be. I mean, I love Pulp Fiction, but this Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is a master.
It's a great movie.
And the character he plays is kind of a washed-up actor who's trying to still be a good actor. Was he ever a good actor? You know, you look at that. But him and Brad Pitt's play, like the bromance was just phenomenal. But he does things in this movie that this is a movie where I've enjoyed him so much. Like, I just enjoy watching him act. And his scenes where he's on set in the fake movie inside Once Upon a Hollywood, I think it's some of the greatest acting he's ever done. I'm saying about all of his roles because I think he's phenomenal. But, yeah, he plays Rick Dalton, who, I mean, really, this is a guy that's a pathetic actor, but he makes you feel for this guy. You know, it's crazy. And the ending of that movie is just borderline insanity. So if you like Inglourious Bastards and you've never seen this movie, go watch it. All right, John, up to your number 3. You got another Martin Scorsese movie on your list there, buddy?
I am torn between 2 movies.
Well, you better get untorn.
I'm going to go with the one that I saw more recently, and
Okay.
I actually watched it because of this podcast.
Oh, wow, okay.
I'm going to go with Catch Me If You Can.
Wait, you just saying you just seen this recently?
No, I watched it before, but I watched it
Oh, you
again.
watched it again, okay. Yeah, Catch Me If You Can. The year.
We
See,
watched.
You,
we
you know
watched
how I got
because
these on
of
the list? Because I know the years. 2002, Frank Abigail Jr. Abigail Jr.
Yeah.
Based on a true story, once again.
Yeah.
What do you like about I mean, it's a great movie. I went and saw it at the theater the day it opened. But what?
I mean, we're talking about him playing roles within roles, and it seems like every time he's doing something else in this movie, he really becomes a different person. There are parts where you don't know what's an act for him and what's real. You don't know how he feels about Tom Hanks' character.
So Tom Hanks is the FBI agent who
That's
is
after him.
So he is a con artist in the truest sense. He's forging checks. He's assuming identities. He is a doctor. He's posing as a doctor at a hospital. He's never taken, and he knows nothing. The only thing he knows about doctors is from TV.
Yeah.
And this is his constant thing. This is like a true guy, you know. So anyway, so him and Tom Hanks have play back and forth, usually over the phone.
There's a girl he meets. You don't know if he's really in love with her or not.
Amy Adams. Amy Adams, who probably is the cutest she's ever been in a movie. Anyway.
There's just all the different roles he's playing within this movie. Not only are you forgetting that that's Leo, but you forget that's Frank Abagnale.
Who is Frank? It's really,
Yeah.
who is this guy anyone?
And
Christopher Walken plays his father. He is, dude, we could talk, honestly, you're right, man. We could just do supporting cast around him. Has always been out of this world.
Yeah.
I mean, we're listing some of the best actors that have ever lived in movies with this guy.
Yeah.
It's insane. And he outshines them, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's in a movie with Tom Hanks. I'm like, all right, Forrest Gump, shut up. Let's get back to the other guy,
Yeah.
All right, that's a good one. Catch Me If You Can. Definitely was on my also runs. Well, John, I would be amiss. And this is not my favorite movie by the man. But you cannot have a Mount Rushmore without Titanic. All right, you can't have it, okay? If you want to look at a movie that cast him into the other worlds of acting as a superstar, as a Hollywood A-lister, Titanic is it, okay? Did I see Titanic multiple times theater? Yes, I did. Did I fall in love with Kate Winslet because of this movie? Yes, I did. Did I love Leo in this movie? Yes, I did. It's a great movie. I know it gets a lot of crap because it's a romantic film. It's a chick flick, but Leo is so good in this movie. I mean, he carries the movie. Obviously, he's an A-lister. He makes you care about this vagabond who gets onto the Titanic. But you can't, when most people that aren't us, that aren't the people that don't love movies, if you're like Leo, they're going to say Titanic. So I think you can't go without including Jack from Titanic.
I do think that this movie catapulted him.
Oh yeah, it's the movie that, I mean, girls were in love with him, like young girls were in love with him. This was like girls that were starting to become adults loved him, and I think it allowed the guys to go to the theater and go, "Hey man, I already knew he was good. I've seen all his movies before, but a lot of people saw it and went, hey, wait a minute, this guy's got the goods right here." So once again, is it my favorite movie of his? No, it's not in my top. Probably, it's not my top 5 for sure. But I think you got to look at the importance of this movie in his career, and it's essential. So Titanic's my number 3. All right, we're up to your last one, John. Now,
Last one.
Critters 3 is still on the board.
Ooh.
Man on the Iron Mask is still on the board. You got any other good ones on there? He does have a lot of bad movies, so I can't really run them down. Like, those are the 2 I've got. I'm like,
I'm not picking Romeo and Juliet.
It's a good movie. I will stand by Romeo and Juliet. I think it is a good movie.
What I will say is this is probably my favorite movie with him in it.
What?
Inception.
Okay. Yeah, everyone. Yeah. You got to love Inception. Christopher Nolan. I don't know who directed Catch Me If You Can. Is it Martin Scorsese? Go ahead. Go ahead. Talk about. I think it may be.
I mean,
it doesn't seem like a Martin Scorsese movie. It's going to be hilarious if it is. Okay, talk about Inception.
It would be
John.
funny. We'd have to find another.
Quentin Tarantino movie. I don't think he's been another one, but
Inception. If you haven't seen it at this point,
Steven Spielberg.
I mean, there's been a lot of scenes have been mimicked in other movies since then.
Mm-hmm.
But he plays a guy who has the ability to jump into people's dreams, and he's got this idea that you can implant an idea instead of what they usually do for gain is to try to remove ideas from people. But the object of this movie is to incite an idea into someone's mind to make them think that they came up with it, to get them to do something.
It's a tough movie to explain. It's a tough movie to explain, honestly. I mean, but I love Nolan. I'm a Nolan fanatic. So this is probably my favorite. Well, I forget about Dark Knight. I don't know. I like Inception. If Inception's on, I will watch Inception whenever it's on.
I mean, if anything was Nolan's baby, this is his baby. He filmed the Dark Knight series
where he could film
so he could film this.
I mean, we could argue about which one's better, but yes, I love Inception. If Inception's on, I will watch it no matter what. It's one of those movies. It's like Shawshank. If it's on, I'm watching it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's great as Cobb. Is that his name? Yeah, Cobb. This movie came out in 2010. So think about 2010 Inception, 2012 Django Unchained, 2013 Wolf of Wall Street. Get out of here, bro. Get out of here. Get out of here. No actor has Daniel Day-Lewis. But besides him, can you name another actor with runs like that? It's really crazy to think about. I mean, they usually have some stupid movie in between. Not him. Yeah, Inception. Fantastic. Okay. I'm just going to round out the list. I'm going to go with the movie that finally got him his Oscar, The Revenant from 2015, where he plays Hugh Glass. The Revenant is a look at the colonization of America. He is a man that is a fur trader, essentially. He's, of the new colony. And things go badly for him. And for a good part of the movie, he's not even walking around. He is literally in a cot or he's dragging himself around. Mm. I believe it's based on a true story, if I'm correct about that.
How many of these are there now? I mean, technically Titanic.
Wolf of Wall Street, Titanic, Catch Me If You Can. I think that'd be it. But he's done a lot. He's done Basketball Diaries, which is based on a true story. I'm sure he's got a bunch. I mean, and but yes, The Revenant, what else can I say about it? It's the movie that finally gave him his Oscar. Is he amazing in it? Yes, he's fantastic. It's him and it's Tom Hardy, right? Is Tom Hardy in it? Okay. And Tom Hardy, Leo, sign me up for that movie today. I'm all in on it. So, yeah, I'm going to go with The Revenant to end this out. Now, I will say Leo's got a new movie coming out. It's called Don't Look Up. It's coming out at the end of this year. It's him, Jennifer Lawrence, Jonah Hill, Timothée Chalamet, Cate Blanchett, many others, and it's directed by Adam McKay, who's done some great movies, The Big Short. He did a bunch of comedies that you may be aware of. So that's going to be good. I can't wait for it. Don't Look Up. Just to say, go watch that. But let me recap our list, and then I'll get a few listeners. I've got for John, Wolf of Wall Street, The Departed, Catch Me If You Can, Inception. I had Django Unchained, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Titanic, and The Revenant. Now, we had a couple people on Twitter reach out to us. We had our buddy Baco said, let me see, his list would have included Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Catch Me If You Can, Shutter Island, and Inception. You should have went Shutter Island. It was another Martin Scorsese film. And then this is weird. I did not like Shutter Island.
There's a lot of people that didn't.
I think he's good in it. I thought it was kind of hokey at the end. But Kent had Shutter Island, Wolf of Wall Street, Inception, and The Departed. So Inception's a big people love Inception.
Almost my list, except for
Shutter Island.
Yeah.
There you go. So thank you guys so much for doing that. I'm sure we'll get a lot of feedback during the week. But Leo is a national treasure. We love him, and there's no, even the bad movies are good. So, and I think I've seen I haven't seen Critters 3, and I haven't seen some of the stuff early on. But What's Eating Gilbert Grape, kind of feel bad leaving that off because he's fantastic in that movie. Probably can't make that today because he's playing a special ed person, but
only a special ed person can play that
role. Yeah, that's what we learned. But Basketball Diaries is really good about heroin addiction, real life, about Jim Carroll. And Gangs of New York, I felt bad leaving that off. He's fantastic in that. But it had Cameron Diaz in it.
Yeah. The Aviator, another real life person.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Was it Hoover?
Hoover, yeah, he played. Not a fan of the movie, but
the Quick and the Dead.
The Kid, yeah. I've watched that too many times, bro. Honestly, I've just watched it too many times.
This Boy's Life, one of his.
That's a good one. Yes, him and De Niro. That is, damn. Yeah, there's a bunch of good ones. They suggested in the chat we should do a Mount Rushmore Bruce Willis, and I'm down for that. I'm down to do that whenever. Bruce Willis has got some good movies and some clunkers, but I'll put that in my notes to do that later on. All right, well, that's our Mount Rushmore. That is the episode. So, this weekend, like I said, 9/11, just, take a moment to celebrate it or remember it, not celebrate, but remember it however you can. And just, thank God you're, whatever's going on with you, you're not, with death of Michael K. Williams. Just appreciate the positivity in life. Look for the happy moments, and hopefully everyone will get vaccinated and we have to worry about it. But until then, you can go to our website, which is bybpod.com. That's right. If you go to that website, you can find all of our past episodes. You can find all the links to our social media. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. We're on all of them. If you want to email us about the show, there's ways to do that, way to subscribe to the show. And,
if you're going to buy masks and you want to do that via Amazon,
there you go.
Use our Amazon link. And also, next month, Halloween. So if you're going to get your Halloween costumes via Amazon, go to our website, click on that affiliate link, and help a brother out.
I like it. Yeah. If you're going to buy crap on Amazon, please go to our website, click on our Amazon link, and that will help us out immensely. So with that being said, is there anything else?
Don't blame yourself when you can blame your brother.
Peace.